in the music hall. They were on the boards, so to speak, in vaudeville. And my stepfather sang, and my mother played the piano. And sort of to keep me quiet, so to speak, because I was home from school, which was shut, my stepfather decided to give me some singing lessons. And to his surprise, they discovered that I had a really phenomenal freak adult voice at the age of 7. And they were very worried that I would damage my throat or something. So they took me to a wonderful teacher, and she smiled and loved the way I sang, and she said, "Why don't you bring her back when she's about 13? I could start teaching her properly then." But by the age of about 9, I was singing so much and so strongly, and beginning to join my mother and stepfather on the boards in theatres in the summer holidays and so on, that she agreed to take me on, and she became my singing teacher for the rest of her life. Oh, she was, I think she lived to be in her 90s, and she was still singing. A wonderful lady. So I began by touring with my parents, and then when I was about 12, I was asked to appear in London in a very sophisticated nightclub show. And the night before we opened, the producers felt that I was much too young and too innocent to be in a sophisticated show. But my parents and their agent said, "You can't do this to Julie. She's so excited about going on stage," and they exerted a little bit of influence. And by amazing good fortune, I went on stage on opening night, and I sung such a high song with such difficult passages in it that at the end of my song, the audience just rose up to their feet and wouldn't stop clapping. So the press got hold of it, and I was followed home, and I sort of became an overnight sensation at the age of 12. And then the hard work began, and I toured round and round and round England many, many times, learning to do what I do. And I wondered if it would ever do me any good. What would being in music hall and vaudeville, where would it go? And then I was asked to come to Broadway and New York City to be in a show, and that led to My Fair Lady, and that led to Camelot. And then Walt Disney came and said, would I like to come to Hollywood to be in Mary Poppins? Well, if you think about it, those are 3 amazing building blocks. The first time I sang on stage and the audience came to their feet when I was 12, that was the first big stepping stone. Then going to Broadway, and then going to Hollywood. So I actually was working my whole life. School was challenging and difficult because I wasn't ever in one town long enough to attend school regularly, and my grades really fell. So eventually a tutor was hired, a wonderful lady, and I thank God for that woman because she drilled into my befuddled brain some good math and some good history and some good knowledge, and encouraged my love of writing. So thank goodness for that good tutor.
And then you are continuing